You drink them every single day, pull them from the fridge, and sip them with lunch while trusting some of them as healthy. But 5 common bottled drinks in your kitchen may be silently feeding tumor growth inside your colon, and you may not feel anything. Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in the United States, and more than half of all cases are linked to what people eat and drink every day. Seniors often have no idea that a morning bottle can create the perfect environment for polyps to grow, for cells to mutate, and silent tumors to develop year after year. By the time you notice blood in your stool, unexplained weight loss, or fatigue that will not leave, it may be stage 2 or stage 3, and survival drops sharply. I am Dr. James Mitchell, a board-certified gastroenterologist for over 28 years. I have performed more than 12,000 colonoscopies, and I have seen what happens when good people drink the wrong things for too many years. I have watched patients in their 60s and 70s come in for a routine checkup and discover a tumor the size of a golf ball growing inside their colon without knowing it was there. They ate normally, drank what everyone else drinks, they did not smoke, and exercised sometimes, and still got colon cancer because the danger hides in everyday habits, especially bottled drinks consumed for decades. Before I name the 5 worst drinks, you need to understand how colon tumors form. Your colon is not just a tube for waste. It is a living organ lined with millions of cells that replace themselves every few days. Normally, these cells grow, divide, and die in a controlled cycle. But when inflammation runs high in your body, gut bacteria fall out of balance, and sugar plus toxic compounds flood the system, cells can mutate, and damaged cells can divide uncontrollably. A polyp can form. If that polyp is not found and removed, it can become cancer over 5, 10, or 15 years. That is why this disease is a silent killer. You can have a polyp for 10 years, feel fine, have regular bowel movements, and still believe you are healthy. By the time symptoms finally appear, cancer may have spread to lymph nodes, liver, or lungs. The American Cancer Society says 1 in 23 men and 1 in 25 women will develop colorectal cancer in their lifetime, and risk rises sharply after age 50. But risk is not only age. It is also what you put in your body every single day, including those bottled drinks with healthy-sounding labels. Now let us talk about the 5 bottled drinks. The first, and one of the worst, is bottled sweet tea. A typical 20-ounce bottle of sweet tea contains about 50 grams of sugar. That is 12.5 teaspoons of sugar in one bottle. Liquid sugar hits your bloodstream fast, drives a major insulin spike, and insulin is a growth hormone. It tells cells to grow, divide, and multiply. If precancerous cells, damaged cells, or early polyps are already in your colon, insulin acts like fertilizer, making them grow faster, divide faster, and turn dangerous sooner. But sugar is not the only problem. Bottled sweet tea can contain 4-MeI, or 4-methylimidazole, a chemical formed when caramel color is made to give that rich brown color. 4-MeI has been shown to cause cancer in lab animals, and California requires a warning label on products containing it. Many bottled sweet teas contain more 4-MeI than people expect, and daily drinking means daily exposure. A study from Johns Hopkins University found that people who drank 1 or more sugary drinks per day had a 30% higher risk of developing colorectal adenomas, the precancerous polyps that can turn into colon cancer. If you are overweight, have type 2 diabetes, or have a family history of colon cancer, then the danger rises even more. The second bottled drink secretly fueling colon tumors is bottled fruit juice. Patients tell me, "Doctor, I do not drink soda. I drink juice, that is healthy." But bottled fruit juice, by the glass or bottle, is not the health drink people imagine. When you squeeze an apple, orange, or grape and remove the fiber, pulp, and structure, you remove what slows sugar absorption. What remains is sugar water with a little vitamin flavor. A 12-ounce bottle of apple juice has about 39 grams of sugar, almost 10 teaspoons, and more sugar than a can of Coke. The insulin spike is the first problem, because it can feed precancerous cells. The second problem is high fructose corn syrup, or HFCS, especially in fruit drinks that are not truly 100% juice, and even in some products that look healthier than they are. HFCS is metabolized differently than regular sugar. Your liver must process that fructose, and too much can lead to metabolic syndrome, fatty liver, and chronic inflammation, including inflammation in your colon. Chronic colon inflammation is a major risk factor for colon cancer because it keeps injuring the intestinal lining, damages DNA, and helps cancer start. A study published in the journal Gut followed more than 100,000 people for over 20 years and found that people who drank 2 or more servings of sugary drinks per day, including fruit juice, had a 32% higher risk of developing colorectal cancer before age 50. Even among people over age 50, the risk was still 18% higher. Many bottled fruit juices also use preservatives, such as sodium benzoate and potassium sorbate, to survive on shelves. When these preservatives mix with vitamin C, they can form benzene, another known carcinogen. One bottle may have low levels, but 1 or 2 bottles a day, for 10, 20, or 30 years, adds another toxin your colon must handle. The third bottled drink you need to watch is sports drinks and electrolyte drinks. More seniors are drinking them now because they think electrolytes make them healthier than soda. If you are working outside, exercising heavily, or sick and unable to keep food down, a sports drink may be useful. But if you are sitting at home, watching television, eating lunch, or running errands, and drinking one for your health, that is a mistake. A typical 20-ounce bottle of Gatorade, Powerade, or similar sports drink has about 34 grams of sugar, 8.5 teaspoons, in one bottle. It may also contain artificial colors like red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1, plus artificial flavors, preservatives, and plenty of sodium, far more than you need without heavy sweating. Again, that sugar spikes insulin, and insulin feeds precancerous growth. But sports drinks also attack the gut microbiome. Good bacteria help digestion, immunity, and cancer protection. They produce butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that protects the colon lining, reduces inflammation, and helps prevent mutation. Bad bacteria feed on sugar and produce toxic compounds, damage the colon lining, cause inflammation, and can lead to DNA damage. A sugary sports drink feeds the bad bacteria, tips the balance away from protective bacteria, and creates an environment where cancer can thrive. A study from the University of Michigan found that a high-sugar diet changes the gut microbiome in as little as 24 hours and increases inflammatory compounds that damage the colon lining. Another study from the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center found that people with higher levels of certain bad bacteria in their gut had a much higher risk of developing colon polyps and colon cancer. So when you drink a sports drink you are not just drinking sugar, you are feeding bacteria that weaken your colon defenses. And zero-sugar sports drinks are not a free pass. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and acesulfame potassium can also disrupt the gut microbiome, reduce good bacteria, and promote inflammation. Some studies have linked artificial sweeteners to higher colorectal cancer risk. Switching to diet is not the answer. The fourth bottled drink quietly damaging your colon is bottled flavored coffee. I mean the gas station bottles, dairy aisle mochas, lattes, frappuccinos, vanilla lattes, and caramel macchiatos, drinks that taste more like dessert than coffee. Seniors grab them in the morning, after church, before errands, or on the way to the doctor, while thinking, it is just coffee. But a 13.7-ounce bottle of Starbucks Frappuccino contains 32 grams of sugar, 8 teaspoons in one bottle. It can also contain artificial flavors, preservatives, caramel color with 4-MEI, and sometimes trans fats from creamers or whipped toppings, which increase inflammation throughout the body. Plain black coffee may actually lower colon cancer risk because it contains antioxidants and polyphenols. But when coffee is loaded with sugar, syrup, cream, caramel, and flavorings, the benefits are buried, and that drink becomes cancer-promoting. The bitterness can mask the sweetness, so you may not notice 8 teaspoons of sugar, but your pancreas notices, your insulin notices, and your colon notices. Drink 1 every morning on an empty stomach. Then that sugar absorbs even faster. You spike insulin, feed any precancerous cells, crash a few hours later, feel tired, reach for another drink or snack, and then repeat the same cycle again. Over time, this can lead to insulin resistance, then type 2 diabetes. According to the American Cancer Society, people with type 2 diabetes have a 30 to 40% higher risk of developing colorectal cancer. That is 30 to 40% higher from the same sugar pattern hiding in coffee, your tea, juice, and sports drinks. The 5th bottled drink may surprise you most because it is marketed as healthy, good for digestion, and good for gut health. I am talking about probiotic drinks and yogurt drinks, the little bottles that say live cultures, digestive support, and immune support on the label. Sounds harmless, but read the label. A popular probiotic drink in a tiny 3.5-ounce bottle has about 19 grams of sugar, almost 5 teaspoons, in 3.5 ounces. That is more sugar per ounce than soda. They add sugar because plain fermented milk tastes sour and tangy, so companies make it dessert-like, then place the word probiotic on the label. People may drink it every day, believing they are helping their gut, while swallowing sugar water with a few bacteria. All that sugar can cancel the probiotic benefit. You may add a few good bacteria, but you feed bad bacteria a huge sugar meal, and they multiply faster than the good ones. The net effect can be worse gut health, more inflammation, more colon lining damage, and higher cancer risk. A study published in Nature found that high sugar intake reduces gut bacteria diversity and reduces beneficial bacteria like bifidobacteria, which help protect the colon lining. Another study from the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center found that people who drank more sugary drinks had higher levels of harmful bacteria in the colon and higher rates of colon polyps. Flavored probiotic drinks, strawberry, blueberry, peach, often carry even more added sugar, artificial flavors, artificial colors, and additives your colon does not need. Now I want to tell you about a patient I call Robert. He was 68 years old, retired, played golf 3 times a week, walked every morning, and thought he was in good shape. He came to see me because of bowel habit changes, nothing dramatic, just more constipation some days, some looser days, and sometimes narrower stools. He drank a bottle of sweet tea every day at lunch for probably 40 years. He drank a bottle of orange juice every morning because he thought it was healthy. Every afternoon around 3 o'clock, he had bottled iced coffee to help him get through the day. That was 3 sugary bottled drinks every single day for decades. I performed a colonoscopy and found 3 polyps. 1 was small, about the size of a pea, but 2 were larger, 1 the size of a nickel and 1 almost the size of a quarter. When the lab finally examined them, the biggest one was already precancerous. That meant if he had waited another 2 or 3 years, it probably would have become cancer. Robert was lucky because we caught it early. We removed all 3 polyps during the colonoscopy, and he is doing fine now. But Robert truly had no idea. His only symptoms were minor changes, which he blamed on old age, medication, and stress. He thought he was perfectly healthy, yet those 3 drinks a day quietly created the perfect environment for polyps to grow. Robert is far from being alone. I see patients like him every week, good people who do not connect the bottle in their hand with the polyp growing inside them. But now you know the connection, and knowledge gives you power, starting today. So what should you do right now to protect your colon, lower risk, and avoid Robert's path, starting today? First, go to your refrigerator after this video, take out every bottled drink you have, read the labels, and add the sugar. How many grams are you drinking daily? If it is more than 25 grams total for a woman, or 36 grams total for a man, then it is already too much. Those are the American Heart Association recommended limits, and many seniors exceed them from drinks alone before eating any food. Be honest and count every sip, bottle, can, and glass. Second, replace sugary bottled drinks with better options. Plain water is still the best choice. You can add lemon, lime, cucumber, or mint for clean flavor without any sugar. Sparkling water is fine too, if it is plain, with no added sugar and no artificial flavors. Herbal tea, hot or iced, is excellent if you do not add sugar, and brewing it at home is cheaper and healthier than bottled sweet tea. Black coffee is fine, even helpful, but skip sugar, syrups, and whipped cream. A little milk or half and half is okay. Third, if you want juice, eat the fruit instead. Eat an orange, an apple, or grapes. You get vitamins, antioxidants, and fiber. Fiber slows sugar absorption, prevents massive insulin spikes, and also feeds good gut bacteria. Whole fruit is good for you. Fruit juice is basically soda with a fruit label. Fourth, get a colonoscopy if you have not had one in the last 10 years, or if you are over 45 and have never had one. Nobody really enjoys the colonoscopy prep, but colonoscopy is the single best tool to prevent colon cancer, because doctors look for polyps and remove them before they become cancer. That is why colon cancer is one of the most preventable cancers. The American Cancer Society recommends everyone start screening at age 45, and if you have family history or other risk factors, you may need to start earlier. If you are behind, call your doctor tomorrow, schedule it, and do not wait for symptoms, because by then it may be too late. Fifth, pay attention to your body. If your stools suddenly get narrower, if constipation or diarrhea lasts more than a few days, if you see blood in the stool or on toilet paper, if abdominal pain does not go away, if you lose weight without trying, or if you feel tired all the time for no reason, these are not normal signs of aging. This is not just normal aging. These symptoms can be warning signs, and you need to talk to your doctor right away. Do not be embarrassed about it. Do not dismiss it or wait for it to disappear. It is better to check and find nothing than wait and miss something treatable. Sixth, start adding more fiber every day. Fiber is like a scrub brush for your colon. It keeps stool moving and feeds good bacteria. It reduces inflammation and lowers the risk of polyps and colon cancer. Most seniors get only about half the fiber they need. Aim for 25 to 30 grams of fiber every day from whole grains, vegetables, fruits, beans, and legumes. Increase slowly so you do not get bloated or gassy, and drink plenty of water. Fiber and water work together in your colon to keep it clean, healthy, and working properly. Before I go, leave a comment below and tell me which of these 5 drinks you drink the most. Be honest, nobody is judging you. We are here to learn and get healthier. Tell me your age, whether you have had a colonoscopy, and whether any symptoms worry you. I read as many comments as I can and answer as many as possible. If this video helped you today, or if you learned something new, or if it made you think twice about the bottle in your hand, please give it a thumbs up so more people can find this information. Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you do not miss future videos on senior health, gut health, cancer prevention, and the things you need to know to stay healthy, independent, and strong into your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. Remember, your health is your most valuable asset. The choices you make every day, the drinks you choose, the food you eat, the habits you repeat, add up. They add up to health, vitality, and long life, or to disease, pain, and loss of independence. It is never too late to change, lower risk, and take back control. You do not have to be perfect, you just have to start today. Throw out the sugary bottled drinks, schedule that colonoscopy, eat more fiber, drink more water, and take care of your colon today, because you deserve a long, healthy, happy life, free from cancer, and full of the people and things you love.